Hi everybody, this is Dee. Okay, this is my first tutorial. We're going to do something really simple, and basically it's a cup holder that you can sling over your arm. Now me with my dry mouth, I'm all the time taking my Yeti cup with me everywhere, but for this purpose we're going to use this cup here. I got this at the dollar store, and we're going to use it now. The way I measure, like you can use any size cup, and the way I measure it is, I'll show you, but how big the bottom is, that's your main gauge of how big around the circle needs to be. It's pretty simple. It's just a granny stitch and some half doubles at the top, and I make my handle out of double crochets, but we'll get to that part. Anyways, what you're going to need is, I love this cotton, the pink sparkle. There is 153 yards, requires a 5.5. I use a 6 hook. You're not going to need this whole thing. I don't know exactly how many yards, but you're not going to use this whole skein. Okay, and we need our hook, which when I'm making these, because I need it to stretch a little, and cotton doesn't stretch, I start with a 6 hook, which is just a 0.5 larger than what is required on the label. Okay, you also need a pair of scissors. You'll need a needle for your ends. And then if you want to, dress it up with some embellishments, you can use, a already made tassel, or you can make a tassel, couple of beads, and you're all there. Okay, so I'm going to okay, so this is how I always start. If you guys don't do it this way, that's fine. Do it your own way. But this is how I make my loop to go on the hook. I cross it over and pull it through. Ta-da! Did that go out of camera? Let's try it again. I go around, then I cross it over, then I go through. Trying to show somebody, I mess it up, right? I do this a million times, and now that I'm trying to show someone, I mess it up. And there you go. That's how I make my first thing. Okay, so we're going to want to chain 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you've chained 5. Now we're going to go into that very first stitch and do a slip stitch. Okay, so now we got our little circle. Okay, so now for the first, we're going to chain 2. This is for our first stitch. That is a double crochet. We do count that. And we're going to do 12 around the circle. So there's 2. 3. Oops. 3. 4. 5. 6. I'm going slow, so you guys, I usually go pretty fast, so I'm trying to slow my pace here. There's 7. And I'm going around that tail. 8. 9. Now I'm going to leave that tail out. 10. 11. 12. Okay, now take that little tail and pull it. Make your circle smaller. It's not going to matter all that much, but it did make my circle smaller. Okay, then we're going to do a slip stitch in this very first stitch. That's the third chain, the top chain of that first stitch, that first chain 3 that we made. Do a slip stitch. There we go. We've made our first round. Chain 2. Now, excuse me. Now you can see where this is, okay? It's kind of like in an odd spot, but we're going to go in between. So basically you turn your work. I should have said that to begin with. You turn your work. So this is on this side of that first hole there. And you're going to do 2 more double crochets. Bear with me, guys. This is my first one. Okay, skip 2 stitches. Do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, skip 2 more. Where is that skip? Oh, there we go. Our string's in the way. Right there. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Slow it down, D. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, now we've got 3. Skip 2. That's going to be that hole right there. See, 1, 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now we've got 3 in that one. Okay, now we're going to go skip 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, let me pull out some more yarn here. Okay, we've got 3 stitches in that one. Skip 2. This is going to be the last one. Yarn over. 1, 2. Yarn over. 1, 2. Yarn over. 1, 2. Okay, then we're going to go to that top stitch again and do a slip stitch. Chain 2. Okay, so this is our circle. Okay, here we go. That's a better spot. This is our circle, and we got our granny stitches going around. I know this is pretty simple, but I wanted to start out my my tutorials with a simple one, and then later on we'll get into something more technical. I'm going to weave this end in. I always weave my ends in because I don't like this getting in my way. So I'll be right back. I'm going to weave this end in. Okay, got my needle threaded. Now when you're weaving in an end, I learned the hard way, make sure that you go both ways. You know, just kind of, you know, pick up a few stitches, push it through. Now go back the other way. That's what's going to keep your stitches from coming apart. No one ever really told me that in the beginning of my crochet journey, and I would just like go around like this and cut it off, and then they start coming apart. So if you go both ways, there's no chance of that coming apart. And then you just snip your end. Okay, so make sure you go both ways. All right, so now we're going to go into the next round. Turn your work. Yarn over. Again, 3 double crochets in each. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so there's our first 3. Skip 2 stitches. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. 1 more. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay. Scooch over to the next one. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay, here we go again. You're going to skip over 3. Double crochet 3 times. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, there's that one. Okay, so we've got 3 stitches so far. Gonna skip these 3 double crochets, go into that next hole, yarn over, go through 2, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. Okay, now we're going to skip 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Go in this hole right here. Yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. There we go. Yarn over, 2, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. There we go. We've got our next one. Okay, let me pull out some more yarn here. All right. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Go into this hole here. Yarn over, go through 2. Kind of pull that tighter. Yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. All right, so we're down to our last one. So we're going to go into that very top stitch. Sometimes it's a booger. And do a slip stitch and chain 2. Okay, now if you look at the cup, let me pull this up. Look at the cup. That's about the size of the bottom of that cup. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start to go up the edges. Okay, now what I do for this may be a little bit different from other folks, and I'll show you what I do. One sec. Okay, I told you to chain 2 and turn. You really need to chain 1. Okay, now what I do is I just put a row of single crochet all the way around. You know, everybody does things differently. This is just me. I don't claim to be a professional. This is just how I do it. Okay, so we're going to do a single crochet in each one of our stitches all the way around. And like I said, this works for me. I've never had a problem doing it this way, but, you know, everybody's different. But this is the way I get it to start to curl. And don't worry about it if it's curling a little bit, because when your cup gets in there, it stretches it out. It's also why, like I said in the beginning, I'm using a bigger hook. So my stitches are a little bigger. Okay? And we just go all the way around doing a single crochet till we meet up with our first single crochet. And here we are. Okay, I do my slip stitch. Now you chain 2. Okay. Now see how it's bowing up a little bit? That's okay, because once this cup gets in there and we've got some edges on it, it works perfectly fine. And you can use any size cup. You just have to know, match the circle that you first do before you do this row of single to the bottom of your cup. Okay, so now we're back. Oh, gotta flip it. Turn it over your work. Okay, this is where 3 stitches, 3 stitches. So we're going to go in here. And that first chain counts. And this is 3. Okay. Then we count 3 stitches over. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go into this one. Oh, I didn't pull it tight enough. No. Okay. We've chained 2. Now what I want you to do for this is to go in that same stitch right there and do 3 double crochets. That first chain counts. Okay, and we're gonna, no, I don't like that either. All right, got turned our work. We're gonna do 3 more doubles. I was gonna do a different stitch to go up the edge, but I think I'm gonna let it be. Okay, yarn over. We're skipping those 3 there, going in this hole. It's just your basic granny stitch. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Go in that hole right there. Okay, we got our 3 stitches. Skip 3. One, 2, 3. Okay, we did our 3 stitches in that one. And I'm just keeping my tension kind of loose, you know. Oops, sorry about that. I bumped the camera. Okay, that way, you know, we still got a little bit of stretch with this cotton. Okay, 3 more double crochets in that hole. And we're at our last one. There's our last one. So we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of this one. Chain 2. Okay, I'll show you what it's going to do now. Let me get it on there best I can because we don't have much going up the sides yet. But this is what it's starting to do. Can I do this? Let me see. If you can see, it's starting to go up the edges. Okay? And this all depends on the cup you're using too, you know. Okay, so we turn our work. Another 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Go on to this one here. I'm doing that a little too loose. There we go. Let me tighten that up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip. Go into this hole here. 1, 2, 3. That one's done. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into, let me get some more yarn out here. The space between our stitches. And do it again. 3 double crochets. Count 3. 1, 2, 3. Go into this space between the stitches. Do 3 more double crochets. We got our 3. Skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Go into this one. I want to show you how it is on the cup. And then you guys can do a few rows of these. It's pretty simple. And there's our 3. And we're back to where we started. So we go into this first stitch. which I'm having a problem seeing. Do a slip stitch, chain 2. Okay, looks kind of small, right? But it fits perfectly. Here, let me get that crochet hook out of the way. Okay, because we've given it. Okay, now this goes up wider. Okay, this cup goes up wider. But it's basically going to stretch, so we're okay there. Especially if you do it in acrylic. I like mine done in cotton, so I can throw it in the wash. But you can do yours in acrylic for more stretch, depending on what kind of cup you're using, you know. Oops. 2, 3. There we go. Skip 3. Go on to the next one. Do 3 double crochets. Count 3. 1, 2, 3. Go into that next hole there, the space between the stitches. And do 3 double crochets again. Okay. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Do 3 double crochets again. And just kind of repeating this all the way around. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Go on to that one. Skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And go on to that one. Do 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're back at our spot again, our beginning chain, right there. Sometimes it's a booger to get into. Pull through, and you've slip stitched. Chain 2. Okay, I'll show you once again how this actually works, even though it looks too small. See, once you have it all done, it'll slide in there easily. When you're first making it, this is kind of what happens. Okay, can you see that? Works out pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing all the way up the cup. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to do, and I'll meet you back once I've got it up as far as I need it to be. Okay, so I've got this pretty long now. Let me show you with the cup. See, it stretches out. I did enough to come to the very top. If I stretch it, it's going to go to the top. You got to remember, when this cup is in there, it's going to have, you know, liquid in it, your soda or whatever. And so it's going to be heavy, and it's going to pull this, it's going to stretch it out. Okay, which I've already stretched it out by putting my cup in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And it's actually not too hard. Like, for instance, if your cup is really V-shaped like that, for you just to add a couple more double crochets in. All right, now that I got it the height that I wanted, I'm just going to go around with a single stitch. All the way around. And like I said, you know, if you know, you just keep fitting your cup in there and seeing how it's doing. That's what I do all the way, because each of the cups are a different size. Some are shorter, some are wider. And you just make sure that circle on the bottom will fit the, you know, complete bottom of your cup. And then do your granny stitch, and it will just flow right up. You know, and if you're not adding anymore, then that makes your edges go up. I'm just doing a single stitch all the way around. Let me pull out some more yarn. Oh, I got a tangle. Oh no, yarn barf. Hold on one sec. Okay, there we go. We're still gonna get yarn barf. I can see it coming. Okay. All right, so continue on with our single stitch all the way around. Now I like to do, you know, a couple rows of the single stitch around the top just for extra security because it will stretch. And I just go around the top, do a couple rows. I'll show you when we get to the end. And like I said, if you need to add a granny stitch, you can just put, for instance, you know, your glass is really wide up and it's become bigger. So what you can do is when you go in here to do your granny stitch, do a granny stitch, chain two, and another granny stitch, and that'll widen it for you. It's just a way to increase the size. But I found on most of these it isn't even necessary to do that. But you can. You can if you want to. Just put 2 stitches in one hole, one, you know, space there, and chain 2 in between, or chain 1. I guess chain 1 would work. And do another granny stitch, and that way you've got added granny stitch area, and it'll widen for your cup. What happened there? Oh, we're at the end, duh. Okay. Get my needle in there, my hook. Do you guys call it a needle or a hook or both? Okay, slip stitched in there. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do that again. This is single stitch in each stitch. You can go around a couple times. It depends on how you want it to look, you know. But it kind of gives it that extra stability right around the top of the cup. And once I get this row done, I'll show you how it's fitting the cup. Also, too, if you're going to increase, make sure you're doing it, you know, in 2s. In other words, don't just increase 1 stitch. Increase 1 stitch on one side, you know, 1 granny stitch. Chain, you know, 1 or 2 granny stitch, same hole. Then when you get to the other side, do the same thing. You know, give it 2 extra stitches. Don't just do 1 because it'll look kind of lopsided. Okay. And I'm just going around doing a single stitch in every single stitch. Like I said, just to give that extra stability. Uh-oh, here comes yarn barf. Ready? Holy moly. I'm going to have to just... Of course, it's got to happen now, right? Why should I expect anything less? Okay. Continue on with our single stitch all the way around. This is our second row of single stitches. My clock dinging in the background. Mark and his brother are out splitting wood. And the kids are over earlier and helped us put away all the patio furniture and get the tarps out and all that good stuff. Getting ready for winter here. Here in Michigan, we're expecting some snow. Okay, I'm slip stitching in that first stitch. And see how that looks? It looks nice and neat. Okay, now let's put the cup in it. Okay, and once again, remember that you're going to have some weight on your cup, and it's going to pull it up like that. Okay? Can you see? Am I too close? See how those single stitches went around the top there? Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now we're going to make our handle. Now, if you want it to be a short handle, you can do that, or you can do a long handle. I like mine to be at least a cross body length. Reason for that being, like I said, I always drop my cup, and I carry a cup with me everywhere. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. And, you know, I was forever fumbling, like I'm trying to bring in my groceries in my purse and my cup under my arm, and I always drop it and whatever. So this made it like a purse, so I can like swing it around to the back and grab whatever I've got to grab. All right, so we're just going to make a chain, however big you want it. And, you know, measure it around your shoulder. If you just want it to be tucked under your arm, you can make your handle smaller. But like I said, for me, I kind of like it crossbody, so I can fling it around and push it around to my back, and I can grab whatever I got to grab. So there's no exact formula for this. If you just want it to be a short handle, you want it to be a purse length handle, or you want it to be a crossbody angle. It's all up to you. But that's how many chains you make, however many. I figured this would be an easy tutorial because there's really not a whole lot of counting. Maybe a little bit with the granny stitches. But I just make as long as you want it to be. And I'll meet you back after I get my chain made. Okay, got my chain as long as I want it to be. I'm going to have to start over again because my camera quit. So there we go. Okay, yarn over, count 2 stitches down. We're going to double crochet. And we're going to double crochet in every single stitch all the way down the chain. Okay, so it's each chain stitch, 1 double crochet. Like I said, I'm leaving my tension really loose because we want this to stretch. It doesn't have to be super tight. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a double crochet all the way down my chain. I'll meet you guys back when I get this part done. Okay, we're getting down to the end of our row here. Doing our last double crochets. And doing the last one in the top. In the top of our first one. Chain 1. Now we're going to go back with 1 single crochet in each stitch. All the way down our handle here. And then when we get down to the end, I will show you how I attach it. And then we'll use our tassel and beads as our embellishment. Or you could use a pom-pom, or you could use... I got a store-bought tassel here, but you could make your own tassels. They're pretty easy. And I kind of plan on doing some tutorials on different ways to make pom-poms and tassels and things like that. You guys know me, I always use embellishments, whether it be beads or buttons or tassels or pom-poms. I'm kind of an old hippie chick, and I like all those old embellishments. But if you don't want to embellish it, you don't have to. Get some more yarn here. And I'm just going down 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way back down my handle. I'll meet you guys back when I get to the end. Okay, I'm coming up on the end here. Now remember, this part is going to need to be pulled down here to make that square, okay? So get this last couple stitches in here. Now this is our stitch. It's going to hold it all together. So we're going to want to take it like this. I don't know how to explain. And skip one stitch. Do a slip stitch through and a single. Okay? Now we're going to cut our end. Oops. We're going to cut our end, pull it through. And you see that holds down the whole handle. Okay, let me get my threader here. Okay, remember what I said about when you're tying in your ends here, make sure you go back and forth a couple of times, especially in this case, because this is kind of holding our handle where it needs to be. So I'm going to go back another direction somewhere else. Okay, and back again. It's going to hold our handle in place and it's not going to go anywhere. I've had no trouble at all with mine, the one I use every day. Okay, so that's going to hold it in place. I'm going to snip her end. All right, so we've got our handle on this side. Okay, let me take a drink. Now you're going to want to count how many stitches you have all the way around. Divide that in half, and that'll determine where you should put your other side of your handle. But me, I'm just kind of old school. I just kind of make it look as even as possible. I can even take a measurement of this section, Okay. Now, the other side of your handle, of course, you're going to straighten it out. Make sure that it's all straight and ready to go. And the next thing we're going to do is connect it here. Okay, be right back. Okay, got my needle threaded. Now, I'm just going to go right through this first stitch. Kind of judge where that one is. See, it's right about there. Okay, this is what I do. Like I said, I'm a little different than everybody. I'm self-taught. So, you know, I just kind of tie a knot. Okay, so we are going to go through this. I guess I could do this stitch because it won't make a bunch. Go back and forth. I'm going to do this twice just to give it extra strength. Give that handle extra strength. Make sure you're getting that corner of that last one. Okay. And we're going to tie these two ends together. Like I said, I guess I kind of do things old school. Even these out so we can tuck in our ends. Oops. Now, because that's so short, I'm going to weave my needle in first. Okay? And then thread it. You'll see what I mean. I got it wove through because I made these ends too short. And I'm just going to pull it through. Just kind of hide those ends. There we go. Now let's see how it looks on the cup. There we go. We got our cup holder. Now we're going to do these embellishments. I like to put my embellishment a little bit to the side of the handle. Like I'll put mine probably right there. Okay, be right back. Because I went back and forth and back and forth. Okay, so I got a little scrap piece of yarn. And I'm just going to tie my tassel on the side. Probably 2 or 3 good times. Like I said, I'm not a professional at this, y'all, but I make a lot of things, and I know what works for me and what doesn't, and, you know, there's probably better ways to do things than what I do, but you guys have been wanting me to do a tutorial, so here you go. This is Dee's way, I guess. Once again, we're going to go back and forth. Let me pull it through. There we go. Cut our ends. Okay, let's put our, oops, it's knocking everything over here. Let's put our cup back in. Hold on one sec. And there we have it, our cup cozy. It's got the little tassel hanging on the side. And it has the handle. I usually make my handle a little longer. But for this, I decided to just make it like a purse handle. And you can sling that over your arm. And got a little embellishment on there. And makes it a lot easier to carry those cups. So, I guess that's it for this tutorial. My very first one, we knocked it out. And like I said, I may not do things the way other people do them, but I do them my way, and they work for me. And there you go. There's our first tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. And I still got a lot of yarn left. As you can see here, let me move the cup. As you can see, there's a lot of yarn left here. So, didn't even take but maybe a half a skein. And that's what I say, 153 yards. I only took a half a skein. So, you know, this is a good Christmas present. Because a lot of people have these water bottles and cups and all that. And all you basically need to do is just make sure that end, boy, that camera's close, isn't it? Make sure that end covers the bottom of whatever you're trying to make. And then go up from there. And then, like I said, if you got a cup with a huge V, just add a granny stitch on each side. You know, you're going to increase it just by 1. But fit it on your cup as you go. That's my suggestion. Because I've done this in all different size cups and shaped cups and all that kind of thing. And I just would put it on as I went. And, you know, like I said before, if you need to add in that extra granny square or granny stitch, just do 2 in 1, you know, one space, and, you know, chain 2 in between. And then when you go around the next time, you're just going to treat that as a normal space. So that's it. And I think my granddaughter's going to like this. Something cute, something quick, and something useful. So that's it for now, guys. Love ya. Much love.